Hi, my name is George Ismail Jr. I'm the author of The Guardians of Havenshire, the Winter Queen of Havenshire, and the upcoming Book 1 of the Stormbreaker Saga, The Chosen, which will, I should just make a quick announcement, be out on June 24th on Amazon.com. It'll be hardcover only. The Kindle will come out later in the year, and hopefully sometime next year we'll have the paperback. So, just as a reminder, June 24th on Amazon.com. It should come out. Hopefully no snags get in the way. Now, this will be my 7th published novel, and it's kind of exciting. And so I decided I wanted to do some retrospective looks. And so I grabbed book 1 of the of my first series, The Guardians of Havenshire, book 1, The Fall. So I started looking over, and I wrote that back in 2008. And the writer that I am and the person that I am right now is different than the person that I was 15 years ago, and actually 2008, 17 years ago. So, and I'm not the same person. I'm not the same. I'm a better writer now than I was. So I started going over it, and I only went over the first few chapters. I didn't go through the whole book looking at it from my perspective as a writer today. I was looking at it. I looked at it as, and I started reading it, and I started doing some edits, and I noticed a couple of things that I wouldn't do today. The first thing I noticed was the length for the chapters. The first 3 chapters are roughly 50 pages. Nowadays, as a general rule of thumb, I don't like doing more than 5 or 6 pages on a chapter. I like my chapters short. I like them to go, because it gives it a fast-paced feel as you read the book. But in that first book, which, by the way, is a good book, not a great book, but a good book. It was my first novel, my first published novel. Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? If I had to do it over again, I would probably break up these 3 chapters to about 6 chapters, maybe 5. I haven't done the math, and I might actually play around with it and see what I would do if I was writing it today and edited it today, and see what I would do, just to see what it would look like and how different it would be. Now, another thing I noticed while I was going over my first novel of Guardians of Havenshire, book 1, The Fall, was the link, not only the length of the chapter, but the length of the paragraphs. I did a little perusal using some AI editing stuff, and just to see what it would do, and it said that I had a lot of big paragraphs in there, and I was like, well, nowadays I'd probably cut them and divide them up with dialogue and things, so it wouldn't be such a long slog of a read. Again, but people have told me when they read it, it's like, I can see the movie when I read your book. So it's not that it's a boring read. It's just, personally, I'd make it more fast-paced by cutting the paragraphs and making them shorter paragraphs. With that, also, there are wording that I wouldn't use and things like that. I use the word began to a lot nowadays. I would just write, they were doing it. I wouldn't say began to or started to. I would just say they're actually doing the action that they're doing. The last thing that I noticed was my dialogue tags. So before I continue talking about dialogue tags, I guess I should define it for people who don't know what a dialogue tag is. So the boy said, "The door is closed." The mother replied, "No, it is not." The boy said, "It is closed." That's a dialogue tag. Said, replied, asked. These are all dialogue tags, and it can get kind of repetitive, and it can get a little bit monotonous and a choppy kind of feel to it. A better way of doing it is, the boy skulked into the living room. The door is closed. The mother snapped her finger. No, it's not. The boy rushed back to the door. It is now. See how the difference in the dialogue and added action to it. So I would probably have changed a couple of things and used a lot less saids and asked and replied. Most of my writing now does not have as much dialogue tags. In fact, I did use that same program, and it says I have less than the average fantasy novel. And so I have way less than the average fantasy novel when it comes to dialogue tags. So I'll give you a little education, gave you a little look back at the first book, Guardians of Havenshire, book 1, The Fall. It is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to read it for free, go for it. Read it. Give give me a great review. If not, you want to buy the book, you can also buy the book. It's $14.95. I am held that price. I could have raised the price with other books as I did, but it is still at $14.95, and it will be for as long as I can keep it at $14.95. Kindle's kind of pushed people out of the below $10 book range, so they pushed them out of there because of cutting off the royalties that you get. So they may actually do that again, all the way up to $14.95, and I might wind up going to $15.01. Just so I keep that book cheap, because I want you to realize that I'm not a bad writer. I'm a pretty good writer, and the writer that wrote that book is nowhere near as good a writer as I write right now. And I promise you'll read book 2. He's like, oh, he's getting better. Book 3, he's getting better. By book 4, you're like, oh yeah, I like this writing. I like his stories, and I'm glad I bought these books. So again, just a quick reminder: June 24th on Amazon.com. Stormbreaker Book 1, The Chosen, will be released on hardcover, and I hope you help support. There will be no link right now because it's not on their website. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.